Hi there, folks. Welcome to another episode of Michael in the Backyard. That was a little bit of different intro there. Just getting after it, getting busy with it. I want to show you where we're at so far. We're building the fenders. So far, I've got the beads. I've stitch welded it. Let's just say tack welded it everywhere on both fenders. And now I just went back and I've drawn the bead down all the internals on either end. Boy, I tell you what though, that is one solid piece of steel. It's boxed in, it's gonna be crazy sturdy. Now I also have fitted all the outside edges so tight, as you can see here, there's no gaps, no seam to almost speak of. What I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna take my TIG welder and I'm gonna go along those edges and I'm just gonna put me a nice little bead on there. Just melt the two together. I'm not even gonna use any filler rod. All the strength is coming from the inside on this interior weld. And then the outside will be, let's just call it more or less cosmetic. And it'll seal up the seam. So when I put paint on it, rust won't bleed back through. That's the goal. All right, I'm almost out of gas. I'm down to, that's almost on the needle. And that's holding 20 pounds still. So lucky for me and unlucky for me, next Tuesday is, this is Sunday. Next Tuesday, the truck's en route to bring me my gas. And some people have asked me what kind of gas I use. Right there it is, Moon Gone. It's Moon Gone and it has argon and carbon dioxide. That's the two gases. It's a mix. I used to use a tri-mix, which had, I think, argon, carbon dioxide, and oxygen. But this blend works good. Leaves a nice clean bead. It doesn't have any glass on top to speak of. And it also allows it to splatter a lot less. When you're done welding, this area in here and here, the splatter is so light. A wire wheel takes it pretty much right off, which is good. I did make one mistake, and I'll show that to you. Right here. You guys see my finger through there? Yep, you can. That's because I accidentally mitered this piece the wrong direction. But the good news is I'm gonna take some of these little triangles that I cut off. I'll fit it back in there and I'll weld it. And on the outside, I'll TIG it. And we'll also put that side of the fender toward the inside of the trailer. Nobody will ever see it. So mistakes can be covered up. All right, well, I'm just gonna have to get back after it. Tonight, I gotta call it a night. Tomorrow night, I'll be back out here. We'll do some more welding. Pretty boring for you guys. I'll jump back in. Honestly, when I start TIG welding, I'll get you some close-up shots of that, is what I'll try to do. I hope I got a lens. I don't know if I do, but if I don't, I'll get you some shots of me TIG welding and then I'll show you what the TIG weld's gonna look like. And then the next thing is fitting them on the trailer. That's gonna be the fun part. Now, what I've got is this top, reason I did both sides exactly the same, is this top edge is gonna sit right where the top of my channel is where I cut the old fender off. And that way I can just reach in there and just put a bead, and lock it in. Same way here, I'll lock it in here. And on the other end down here. And then I also had some pieces sheared for me, because you saw that when I was cutting it apart, I was cutting some bracing. Here we go. So these bad boys will be, doing a little something like that. So we'll put one definitely in the middle of the thing like that. So that way we can weld it in place, we can weld it onto here, and we can get our bracing so the fender strength out here. Now this is gonna be stupid strong out here. But if I put braces on there, and I think, did I get enough braces made? Oh boy, I did. I only got 4. Oh, almost tripped. Too much stuff in here, I've only got 4. Might have to come up with another little piece of something I'll scab in here for 5 and 6. I've got some 1/4-inch plate over there. Yeah, that'd be a little overkill, but that's how I roll. Wish I would have ordered 6 of those now, but honestly, I didn't even look underneath this trailer to see what kind of bracing it did have. Now that I see what kind of bracing it had, I kind of wish I would have ordered a little more, 2 more pieces of that, but it's all right. Okay, without further ado, see ya when I'm TIG welding. All right, I was only kidding. It's literally been a week since I've welded on this, and like I said, we've got the insides all welded on both fenders. Next thing I want to do is TIG weld this seam all the way along here, just to seal it up, blend it off a little bit. And there you can see I've done that on this fender. It's not perfect. We're not going for show quality, guys and gals. We're just going for, you know, mediocre, but heavy duty. Now, right now the fender is not hooked on. I ended up taking this board off. Sorry, I had a sneezing fit there. I ended up having to take this board off because I want to be able to weld back here along this edge here. I wouldn't call it a miscalculation. It's just a slight adjustment in plans, as it were. So I ended up having underneath here, this lip came down, ½ inch past the top part of the channel, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's just the fact that I ended up, for lack of better terms, I thought I was making the right calculation here, and they didn't, which is absolutely fine. So, as you can see here, this is how the fender is going to mount. I've got these pieces of steel tubing going across that I'm going to put some more weight on something on that one, but I want it to hold the fender flush with the wood. That's what I'm after. And you guys might be thinking, why are you making it around the wood? Well, the wood's going to be here for a little while longer, and I can always get some more lumber and recreate. So my plan is to put a little weight on that to hold that down. I've got a mark here and here. This is the center of this pivot right here. So when you're set back like this, yeah, it's the center. And then I'm gonna clamp it down flat, and I'll show you from the other side. So as you see here, this will be, I'll be doing a number like that, so I can get me a good, you know, there again, I want it to come out flat with the top. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I hope so. Excuse me. Yeah, I got the old coveralls on this morning and a t-shirt under the Hawaiian shirt today because we're starting off at 28 degrees this morning. It's supposed to be a high of like 57. Sun's just starting to come up, and we got to get busy because about 1 o'clock, it's supposed to be warm enough that I can actually spray paint these fenders. I'm not worried about getting the wood back in place, but I can get both fenders on and get them painted today, sealed up. That'll at least get me through the winter. And I don't have to worry about these fenders rusting on me. I'll have some protection. Sounds like a plan? All right. We're going to get them tack welded in place, and then I'm going to wire wheel that whole top surface really well so I can get a good clean weld on everything else. And then we'll cut the triangular gussets, and I'm going to put one here, here, and here to support the fenders even more. I mean, come on, this is already going to be welded here and right here. I think we're going to be pretty okay for strength. There we go. Now we can bring that line it right up, right there-ish. Tell you what, I might have to go get a sweatshirt. I think we'll go a little more measurement oriented now that I've got, this is basically now just supporting me. I should be able to take these clamps now. Get this up to 2 1/4. Yeah, we're in good shape there. Lines lined up. Should be able to tacky tack. Ooh, that's cold on the head. She'll be able to leave me a tack right here. That's a healthy tack. Oh yeah. Worked out pretty good that I could take 2 2x, put right underneath there, and my clamps all clamped on nice and tight. Whoop! And I go and drop it. I want to suck this middle in just a little bit. Just a little bit. When the sun goes down on my side of town, a crazy feeling comes round. I don't know the words to the country song. That should hold it. So under here, I'd like for that to sit up on the fender and then go back under here and connect to here and come out, and I could actually cut it off right there at the beam. So let's get my marker out and let's start marking one, because once I mark one, I can cut the other. I can cut the other 2 like it, or 3 from the other side. You know, I never owned one of these bandsaws before, but now that I have it, I use it quite a bit in fabrication. Now we'll see how it fits. I cut a little curve on it. I'm gonna belt sand this real quick. Alright, I want to catch you up on the progress. Might be a little hard to see, but check it out. We wire wheeled a lot of this stuff. Wire wheeled, painted. Even though I'm not going to use the studs on that one, I still painted and protected it. because maybe someday I will. So far it's looking pretty good. This is the whole underside. I know it's not a lot of light in here, hard to see, but all gusseted, primed and painted. Still got this primer out here, letting that dry. We'll get some paint on this joker. But in the meantime, let's pack some wheel bearings. Now these came from the factory, and I'm just double checking because I don't like when things go wrong and I didn't check it. Then I gotta own that, don't I? That's, by the way, this 81 millimeter is the biggest one in this bearing driver kit, and it just does fit this particular big old hub. Yeah, they feel seated, which is awesome. Well, folks, I want to welcome you to the sponsor of this video. This video is sponsored by Ecoflow. Ecoflow is not only a battery bank, it's a power system. And it can do some really incredible stuff. Now, when they reached out to me to sponsor a video, I said, sure, let's take a look at it. And the more I've used it, now this has got dust and dirt on it already. Why? Because I didn't just take it out of a box yesterday. I've had it out of the box for a couple of weeks now. And I've been running it through its paces. I've ran it on my bandsaw. I've ran it on my cutoff saw. And when this is plugged in, when you got 110 power devices plugged into it, you don't know you're not plugged into the grid. It acts just like it normally would. The other cool thing about it, it will show you the display here as to how much juice it's using. So say I have a bandsaw in there that has a 1 horsepower motor and it pulls about 700 to 750 watts. It shows you the watt output that is pulling from the device here. And it would also tell you with the big indicator here how many hours that will last running at that rate, which is amazing. It's always nice to know how much power you have. It also has this handy dandy app here. I know it's hard to see on my phone. Let's see if I can brighten this up. It's as bright as it goes. We're in a let's just call it a semi-sunny day. Right now it's 88.7, just turned over, it was 6. 88.7% charged. It shows the AC, or the watt, 74 watts are currently going in. It's kind of an overcast, hazy day today. This is solar panel behind me that I got with this is capable of putting out up to 220 watts of power. The most I've seen so far on this overcast day, and we're deep into the fall. We're in November. And I've got it angled perpendicular to the sun right now, and we're getting about 88 watts. I have seen it almost to 200 today when the clouds go away and I get more direct sunlight, but it's still, it's charging it up at this level. I've got 8 watts worth of, 7 to 8 watts worth of power coming out of it while I'm charging to charge up my phone. It is a slick little unit, weighs about 27 pounds. And then it's got this solar array that you can buy with it as a separate device. It also has another, the Delta 2 can be powered up. You can actually add up to, I think, at least one more, if not more than that, units to it, battery storage. So this has got all the digital readout. There's another unit you can get that's just a battery. It doesn't have all this controls everything. It's pretty flippin' awesome. And if you want to charge something up, if you want to use this battery, so it's got USB for fast charging, it's got regular USB, it's got type C connectors, and you can turn those on and off with the flip of a button. On the back side, I'll get you around here in a little bit. We'll show you more of that when I get busy doing some work. Did I mention that the Ecoflow has 15 power outlets? It allows me to be able to work out in the middle of the dark, middle of the night. Currently I have my LED powered spotlight shining into the cab of my tractor. And what I need to do out here in the middle of nowhere is vacuum out the cab. And as you can see, my shop vac functions just perfectly fine, like it's plugged into an outlet at your house. If that's not convenient, I don't know what is. It has a battery management system and a management system for all its outputs, so you can't hurt it. This thing here, if you used it once a day, the life of the batteries, there's incredible life in the batteries. Now, obviously, we can't prove that today, but the studies are saying that if you use this battery once a day, like deplete it, recharge it once a day, you can do that for 10 years. That's 3,650 times that you can take this thing up and down. That's a lot of recharges. And that's if you just do it once a day. So far, I've only had to use it up. I don't even use it all up in one day. I did hook a heat gun up to it, a 1500 watt heat gun. It ran for 31 minutes running a 1500 watt heat gun before it completely depleted it. The other cool part is I plugged it into 110. They call that shore power. I plugged it into 110 and it charged it back up in 70 minutes. They claim it takes 80. My experience was 70 minutes to full charge from zero capacity, which is pretty incredible, right? Now this particular unit will put out 1800 watts of power. That's what it's capable of. It has a power X boost technology. I think it's called X boost. I wrote some stuff down here so I wouldn't forget. Yes, it has X boost technology that will take it up to 2200 watts. 2200 watts. That's pretty incredible, right? What are some other things that we need to talk about? Sorry, a lot of devices. There's more devices you can hook into than there are plugs to plug into it. It's pretty cool. Now, the type of battery that they're putting inside this particular unit is the same type of battery they're using in the Teslas. So this has a lot of technology behind it. It has a top grade technology behind it. This is top grade batteries that are in here. Like I said, I've been using it. I am impressed. It is nice for 27 pounds. This is smaller than a generator by a long shot. And the amount of power it produces, like I said, you're plugging in your devices. Think about it. A lot of us like to think we like to go camping and really rough it, right? But we don't like to leave all our home conveniences behind. So we want to be able to charge our phones. We want to be able to make that pot of coffee in the morning. We could take our home coffee pot with us and plug it in here and make your pot of coffee. And while it's making coffee, it can still be making energy and recharging it and replenishing itself. This thing is going to come in very handy for me because I plan on making a very long boat trip and I want to be able to have some of these, let's just call it modern conveniences with power. It has a power outlet on the back. Let me just spin this around real quick. Oh, try not to mess anything up here. But it's got several 110 outlets back here. It's got an actual power outlet back here. It has 3 amp max, little looks like a stereo type plug. I'm not going to get this right because I'm not an electronics expert, but just understand, and over here it has a plug in the side so that if you buy the extra battery and you have 2 of these side by side, you get twice as much power and not power, but longevity. You know, you can just do more longer. And that plugs right into here. This thing has been very well thought out when I'm using it to run my saws and other things, because not always out my outbuilding I don't have power. I got just enough power for lights out there, and that's what I'm going to show you here in just a minute. I can run my lights, my LED lights out there, but I ran too small a cord in the ground, and I knew that when I did it that I don't have the amperage draw. I have too much of a voltage and amperage drop for the distance I went. I wouldn't have to bury a much bigger cable. Here's Ecoflow to the rescue. I've got some stuff out there I need to cut up with my portable bandsaw with a drop cord, and this I can go out there in peace and quiet other than the noise of the bandsaw. I don't have to have a generator running with this. The cool part is I can go out there and saw for about an hour straight with this thing, which is incredible for the amount of amp draw that saw has. I can saw for an hour straight, and if I don't have that job all cut up in an hour, then of steady sawing time, then I'm in over my head anyway. So for right now, let's go out to the lean-to and let's do some sawing. I'm gonna show you how this thing works. And it's so easy. Like I said, you don't even know you're not plugged into the shore power. It's unbelievable. And the other cool part about it, it does have fans in here. So when it's working harder, you hear some fans kick on, which will, you know, maintains itself. It doesn't overheat. It's gonna protect itself. It's just incredible piece of equipment. I almost hate to take it off of the power. Right now it's currently, let's look at my phone here. Because you can Bluetooth it to your phone. It tells you still, now I'm at 89% charged. While we're sitting here, it just charged 1% or so. 70 watt input, 7 watt output right now. Pretty cool. It shows you the devices being used. It's really slick. And you can also, this also has a 12 volt DC in, so you can plug it into your car. You can plug it into your car and charge it. What will they think of next? Let's go out to the lean-to and see what we can do. All right, I got the Ecoflow setting up over here. I'm gonna plug into it, just like I was plugging into a house outlet, baby. And my drop cord and my saw. Now what you'll notice is no slow starts, no anything. It just runs just like it's plugged into 110. So this is a piece of steel frame I'm trying to salvage here because I got another project for it. So we're gonna systematically cut it into pieces, is the plan. So a little intermission here. I started off with 90%. I have currently 81% left. Not bad. And I've made several cuts so far. Getting ready to make more. As you can see, we've cut this all up into bite-sized pieces that I can handle easily. We ended up at 59%. We started off at 90%. So, you know, that's pretty decent. I was pretty tickled. We didn't even use half the power that was available to us to do that job. I could have done two and a quarter to 2.5 of those jobs. So that's pretty impressive, I think. And there again, didn't lack for power. The tool acted like it should. I'm tickled, folks. I'm just plain tickled. All right, let's go plug this back into the solar. And we don't have a lot of daylight left today, but let's see how much charge we can get by the time the sun goes down. It's, like I said, deep in the fall. We're in November. And the sun isn't as potent as it should be because the angle of the earth and the tilt of the rotation and, you know, things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'll adjust the solar panel once again so it's pointing toward the sun. And let's plug this back in. Well, there you have it, folks. The Ecoflow at its best. And I've got it plugged back into the charger now. We're at 175 watts going in. Being down to 59%, it's going to take it at this level 2 hours. That's the nice thing about this. It gives you a meter. Plus, you could also check it out on your phone if you want. But in 2 hours, she'll be fully charged again with this sun without plugging it into any other source. So I think I demonstrated, you know, a pretty major, let's just call it power draw. When you use one of them saws, it sucks down a lot of power. And this thing held up really well. I can't say enough good things about it. I think it's from what I've seen and used so far, it's a very good quality product. And I recommend it for anybody that's watching this channel. Go check them out. Follow all the links below to this particular product, that product, and all the rest of them in the Ecoflow line. I think you'll be satisfied with everything you see. Follow the discount code that's below, the promo code below, and you will get a discount for using the promo code, and enjoy. I plan on, why are the bugs everywhere? These little ladybugs, these little aphids are driving me crazy. But that's deep in the fall, on a warm day in the fall. I mean, it's 65 today in November. That's a beautiful day in my book. It's supposed to get down below freezing before too long. So there it is, folks, solar panel. It's a power system. It's your own power plant. You could have a handful of these and a handful of those, and this will power everything in your house except your air conditioner. You can run your deep freeze off of it, your refrigerator, your blenders, your coffee makers. I mean, think about all your TV, your internet, you know, router. You can run so many things off of this at one time and get yourself some more hours worth of power when your power goes out. Now, that's the cool part about this whole system. let's get back to work, which is kind of a funny thing to say because we've just been working this whole time anyway, and we're gonna do some more projects here. We're gonna get back onto the trailer and the fenders and building and stuff like that. All right, thanks, get back to the show. Check out Ecoflow. Now you want to make sure you get all the grease off of here. Now normally it wouldn't matter so much, but being this is a brake hub, you don't want any of that, anything to end up in the brake drum. Now I'm taking brake clean on a rag and I'm just going to wipe out the inside of this thing. Just to get rid of any manufacturing residue. As you can see, comes out pretty gnarly. All right. We've got to get some bolts to bolt the brake hub on, and then we'll be ready to install the hub and install the wheel. Now the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to pump some fresh grease in here to get all the other gunk out of the axle, the old grease and everything that might be there. That's pretty clean. It's got some heft to it, I'll tell you that. Oh. Digging that. 12-inch max rebore. That's a pretty big drum. I'm telling you that right now. Okay. We're gonna get the other bearing in here. The nut. This came with a nice new nut, which is awesome. Now, if you don't have a seal puller, I suggest you get one because they really, really do come in handy just for this right here. Out with the old. Now, somebody had left a suggestion, and I probably mentioned it already, and maybe in this video or the previous one on the trailer, that you can put a washer back on and knock this stuff out easier. Reuse your seal, but I very rarely reuse the seal just for the simple fact. How good is it? Is it still good? Now typically seals don't just wear out very fast on these trailers unless they've been pulled a lot of miles. But there again, cheap insurance. Keep your grease in. Pop it out. Goodness. To bring some more muscle to the play, to the dance here, I think maybe, huh? I don't have enough muscle. I ain't giving up yet though. Just hit it like you mean it. There, that time I meant it. All the bearings go in the solvent tank for cleaning. We got a lot of grease here. Goodness. All right, let's clean it up. I find having one of these baskets kind of handy for cleaning up small parts. I'll use solvent in there, then I'll blast air in there to get out any more grease. But these bearings look like they're in really good shape. It's the first I've ever had bearings look this good. There's no marks on the rollers. They're clean. We'll look at the races in the hub. Well, as you guys can see, the results speak for themselves. We got this, I come out perfect flat with the top of the bed here. I got to still bolt these boards back down. I got to buy some new bolts for it. As you can see, I've got both wheels. I've got the brake backing plate, the brakes, the hubs, the rear hub repacked, and wheel installed. All I got left to do is torque it back down. I have flipped the trailer around. As soon as I'm done messing with my backhoe, which is going to take me a couple hours, I'm going to back this back up here in front of the shop door, and we're going to proceed to work on the other side and get it done. Hopefully today, because today's the last day I've got for weather and painting. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain. I've got a lot of work to do out in the lean-to to get the backhoe in the shed. As you saw a piece of it in this video, and you've been following me for a minute, you know that I recently got one and been doing some digging. Keep following the channel. You can see the projects I'm working on with that. But yeah, I'm happy. This trailer's made a giant leap forward as far as safety goes. Like I said, I got the brakes on here. I don't have the actuator. That'll come later. But I'm also don't have the DOT inspection yet, so I'm not able to put it on the road just yet. I've got a lot of work to do on the ramps. The ramps are all cracked and busted up here and there. We're going to get that in the shop eventually and get some the ramps rebuilt and repainted. But here it is in all its glory. Nice thing about having a big old trailer like this when you're working on it is you got a giant workbench to throw all your stuff on. I guess it's a little bit of a mess right now. We also got some lights that we're going to be putting on it that I had a company reach out to me and said, hey, want me to send you some lights? I'm like, sure. I'm not going to turn down free lights. And I told them I'd only make a, drop their name for the free lights. And that's all I'm going to do, but not in this video because we're not putting lights on yet. All right. What else is there, folks? I would show you the other side, but it's just more of the same. It's not anything different. It's exactly the same project on the other end. I'm not going to waste your time with that. Well, I want to thank Ecoflow for sponsoring this video, and I've actually used this thing several times now. It's convenient. When I don't want to drag a 50-foot or 100-foot drop cord somewhere, I just take this thing out, set it next to what I'm working on, plug whatever I'm working on, plug it in. Makes it nice. It's great power for a lot of my projects. And so far, when I'm running my projects, I don't run out of power with it. I'm getting ready to do some soldering and some heat gunning on some new lights on the backhoe. And it's going to come in real handy for that. Just for the simple fact I don't have to drag a power cord and have a whole bunch of different power cords up in my thing. I can set that on the floor, plug my soldering gun and heat gun right into it, solder my wires, take it back out of there. No drop cords required. That's going to be very convenient. So anyway, thank you, Ecoflow, and thank you all you folks so very much for watching the videos if you've watched it this far. And don't forget to give me the thumbs up if you like the video. Leave a comment. Please leave a comment as to, things you like, things you don't like. It's I got a lot going on. Let's just say I am never bored. Now, with that being said, I got to get back to work and do some more video for you guys to watch. And have you got your hour a day done yet? I've been preaching it for a while now. Get an hour a day done on your project, whether it's just cleaning up your shop and organizing your shop so the next hour can be very productive. That's all moving things forward. It's just a good philosophy. It's a good way to think. Just 1 hour a day, and you can get hours and hundreds of hours of stuff done a year, and it won't feel like you've really done a lot. But when you step back and you go, wow, I've done a tremendous amount a year later, and you start thinking about what you did in the last year, it's a big deal. This is Michael saying, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. And as you can see, we got some low light conditions here because why? It's early in the morning. I'm up at 5 almost every morning. I hop in the shower and I get out here and start doing stuff, or I have to go to work. Either or. I've got 2 days on the weekend to get a lot of things done. My daylight times are very short. I mean, it's currently now only like 6. We're just getting enough light to not need help. 6:47, and it gets dark at 5:15. I mean, 4:45 is sunset, so 5:15, if you're a hunter out there, that's your last shooting light, is 30 minutes after sunset, legal shooting light. And you can't see anything after that anyway. So, all right, get on up out of here.